Namo Amida Butsu. This morning when I was online, I always read the latest post from my sensei, Josho Adrian Sirlia, and he talked about how there was this morning a European Lama had contacted him, and one of the first things he said to Josho was, "I'm gay." And I had kind of commented on it saying, this is one of the reasons why I'm glad we at Amida Ji formed our own school of Jodo Shinshu Buddhism, because it doesn't get sidetracked by social norms, social discourse, political views, woke trends. And that's the thing. It doesn't, and this is me personally speaking about my faith, it doesn't matter if I'm gay, I'm straight, I'm bi. It doesn't matter if I'm woke, Antifa Biden supporter or Trump supporter, alt-right, whatever. What a lot of Buddhists don't understand is that there are Buddhists who are religious, traditional Buddhists. I mean, my attitude on the whole thing is, you do you, you be you. But when it comes to my Buddhist faith, I don't really care what Meghan Markle has to say. I don't care what a senator in Washington has to say. And I damn sure don't care what Stephen Batchelor has to say in his book, Buddhism Without Beliefs. Because in my opinion, Buddhism without beliefs is atheism. If you strip Buddhism of all the so-called silly, superstitious BS and you replace it with just sitting and staring at a wall and thinking nothing, all you have is silent meditation. You don't have Buddhism. You have something you've called Buddhism without beliefs, but it's nothing. It's just a breathing exercise. It's a mind clearing technique. It has nothing to do with what the Buddha taught. It has nothing to do with the nearly 3,000 years of tradition in the development of Buddhism throughout the millennia. It's your personal take on maybe one little tiny aspect of Buddhism, which is silent meditation. And the same goes true for sexual orientation, political views, social norms. I put norms in quotation mark because I don't see a lot of normalcy in the world right now. This is why I need a traditional Orthodox Buddhist faith that goes back and talks about what Shakyamuni taught and what Amida Dharma is all about. I've said before, if the times when I get in trouble is when I allow my head to get scatterbrained and I get to focusing on the wrong thing. Every time it gets me. And I honestly don't see how a lot of Buddhists who go off into accepting social trends as part of their quote unquote Buddhism manage to keep their sanity. And then again, like I said, you do you. But don't expect me to do the same. I commented also on the post that this is one of the reasons I'm glad we in Amida-ji Temple as members have broken free of Nichi Hongwanji in Japan and formed our own branch of Jodo Shinshu Buddhism, our school of Amida-ji. Because Amida-ji's school of social Jodo Shinshu Buddhism teaches the orthodox teachings that focus on Amida Buddha, not on whatever the political or social flavor or neurosis of the day tends to be. But my comment was, one of my comments was, when I was on Facebook, which I'm no longer on, thank goodness, I was always having to defend being a follower of Josho Adrian Surlia and Amida-ji Temple because of their orthodoxy and their traditional stance and their constant referral to what the Buddha taught. And that's what Josho does. He'll go, okay, that's fine. What does Buddha say about this? What does Buddha not say about this? What does the Dharma teach about this particular subject? And he doesn't shy away from it. But then again, he doesn't just say, oh, okay, well, screw what the Buddha taught, screw what the Dharma taught. We're going to do our own thing because, hey, we got to modernize. And that's what I heard on Facebook all the time was the importance in Buddhism. A lot of these so-called Buddhists felt that what kept Buddhism alive was making it relevant to social norms of society at any given moment in time. I see it as the opposite. I see my society right now as undergoing tumultuous, violent social change. I see it as being very shaky ground. I see chaos ensuing. And I know for a fact if I focus in that direction, whenever I do focus in that direction, I lose my mind. I lose my concentration. I become scatterbrained. I become disoriented. I become overwhelmed. And I need stability to keep me grounded. I need stability to keep me anchored in reality, anchored in truth, anchored in faith. I can't do that with Buddhism without beliefs, as Stephen Blanchard, I think his name once said. There seems to be an opinion amongst so-called Buddhists that Buddhism is not a religion. It is a lump of clay. It is a so-called philosophy or ideology that you can add or subtract to, each their own way. That you can add a little of this, you can add a little of that, you can add a little social justice, you can add a little marriage ceremonies for furries, and if other people want to do that and call it Buddhism, like I said, you do you, but don't expect me to do the same. I see, and that used to disturb me on Facebook, is that there were people that would listen to some political nut telling people to attack others because of the clothes they wore, or the hat they wore, in a gas station, in a restaurant. And that's what they're doing now. And that's supposed to be social justice. No, that's assault. That's ruining someone's life. That's destroying another human being because of their political affiliation. And though I may not agree with that affiliation, I don't agree with any affiliation right now in America. I'll be honest with you. I'm disgusted with the whole system. I feel like it doesn't work. But the thing is, Buddha taught the opposite of this. And I would see so-called Buddhists going on Jodo Shinshu websites and then turning around going on political websites and saying, yeah, we need to go and we need to harass these people. And I'm like, are you about being a social justice warrior? Are you about being a neo-alt-right conservative Trump supporter? Are you all about being, a radical gay person or transgender? Or are you focused on being a Buddhist? We are what we are. We are who we are. And I'm very accepting of anyone, regardless of their stance, as long as their stance doesn't involve attacking or hurting other people, either emotionally, psychologically, or physically. And as a person who grew up in an abusive household, beaten and constantly insulted and psychologically tortured by my family and my sister, I cannot support any form of violence against anyone, man, woman, or child. I can't support it. And so screw your ideology if it supports it. More importantly, the Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha, definitely taught against all forms of violence, including religious persecution. He was against all forms of segregation, to the point to where he would use the term all sentient beings, not just referring to humans, but referring to animals in this Saha realm and beings of other realms, including Maras, demons, devas, he would refer to all forms of beings, gods, and all under the term sentient beings. Because for the enlightened mind of a living Buddha, the only thing that matters is enlightenment and blowing out the candle of delusion. And I, being honest and being an honest seeker of the truth, have discovered I don't know how to blow out that candle of delusion. And so I've entrusted myself to Amitabha Buddha. I identify as a Buddhist. My focus in life is as a Buddhist. I hold down a job and I try to live according to the standards of what the Buddha taught as I practice right profession. I go to the store and I try to behave in the way I think that Buddha would have me behave. My Buddhism is not something for me to mold into my own image, because in my opinion that would defeat the purpose of my Buddhist faith. I am a practitioner of Jodo Shinshu Buddhism. That is other power faith. And what makes it powerful for me is that it is other power. It is not my power. If I focus on my power, I know the direction my life is going, because I am a deluded, finite, confused individual. I know that if I entrust to Buddha, Buddha will not lead me wrong. Buddha will teach me wisdom. Buddha will teach me patience. Buddha will teach me perseverance and love. Life will teach me how to go out in 400 different directions and just basically be just another mad person, insane person. This is what I see in societal norms today, is the age of Mappo. I see proof of this being the Dharma ending age. I don't want to mix my own personal opinions, and much less the opinions of my society around me, with my Buddhist faith, because at that point it's not going to be my other power Buddhist faith. It's not going to be Shinjin. It's going to be a form of madness. Excuse me. And there's enough madness in the world today. Life is plagued with madness. Our entire world systems are in turmoil. We don't know who we are. We don't, and I say we as human beings, we don't know what we are. We don't know where we stand. We don't know how to stand. And so a lot of us just go crazy. A lot of us just give into the most base, primal, subhuman urges, which is honestly the route you're going to take in your so-called faith if you try to mold it to the inclinations of your unenlightened mind. Because at some point, it's not going to be Buddhist. It's like I said about Stephen Batchelor's book, Faith, Buddhism Without Beliefs. It's very simple. Buddhism without beliefs is nothing. It's atheism staring at a wall. My belief system is Buddhist. Buddhism is based on a system of beliefs. I don't care what school you belong to. You know, I can clear out my altar, I could clear out get rid of all my malas, I could take away everything that reminds me of Buddhism, and then just stare at this blank, empty wall behind me and clear my mind. I mean, I can call myself anything I want, but in reality, I'm not a Buddhist. I'm just some guy practicing some mind control technique. And it's me controlling my unenlightened mind through the logic of my unenlightened mind. You know, I joke around, I tell off-color jokes, like I said, I have a foul mouth most of the time. but that's not what I prefer to be. Life is brutal and hard, and dealing with the public is not as hard as you would think, but there's always those people who feel that they're little kings and queens, and they come in and talk down to you and snap their fingers and expect you to place them above everyone else, even if there's a ton of people in front of them waiting patiently. And that's in society, that's in retail, it's in every aspect of life, because the selfish, the stupid, the narcissistic, and the greedy will always be selfish, stupid, narcissistic, and greedy. That doesn't make it right. And as a Buddhist, I have to keep in mind that I can't just go off in whatever direction I want to take, because if I do that, I'm not going to be seen as a revolutionary or an innovator. That's the thing. If you're rich, you can get away with that shit and be called eccentric. If you're poor and you do that, you're just a crazy old man, or a crazy man, or a crazy woman. You don't get the benefit of the accolades. You don't get a pass. You just end up under a bridge, trying to figure out how to open a can of beans without a can opener. I have to focus on my faith. My faith is my Buddhist religion. My religion is Jodo Shinshu Amidaji school of Buddhism. It is a very traditional, respectful branch of Jodo Shinshu Buddhism. It reveres and worships Amitabha Buddha. It focuses on entrusting oneself to Amitabha Buddha, not to myself, not to my whims. It relies on the teachings of the Pure Land Masters, Nagarjuna, Shantao, Shinran Shonin, Rinyo Shonin, and others who have paved the way for us to have a clean, pristine focus of our faith, our goals, and where those goals are taking us. And for those in my school, it's very clear. The goals are taking us to the primal vow, the vow made by Amitabha Buddha, that those who say his name and trust themselves to him and wish to be reborn in his pure land of ultimate bliss and peace will experience this in their next life. No questions, no doubt. And so I don't want to jump on the bandwagon of chaos and call myself a progressive Buddhist, because in my opinion, a progressive Buddhist is not a Buddhist. It's just somebody who wants to call themselves a Buddhist and participate and water down Buddhism with whatever chaos is out there. My Buddhist faith is supposed to help me focus on that which is not chaos, the opposite of chaos. And the opposite of chaos is Amitabha Buddha and his pure land. So that's my stand. It doesn't really matter what my political views are. It doesn't matter or aren't. It doesn't matter what my sexuality is or isn't. It doesn't matter what my race is or my ethnic culture. What matters is the primal vow of Dharmakara Bodhisattva as he became Amitabha Buddha, the savior of infinite life and light, the greatest of all Buddhas, Amitabha Buddha, Amida. And his pure land is my life goal. There's nothing here that's my goal. The only thing here that I would like to have, ideally, is a little tiny house, a little plot of land, a little garden, and of course a beautiful shrine to Amitabha Buddha. And this will do nicely. You know, I don't want to add to the chaos. If I participate in what's going on in society right now, I'm adding to the chaos because all I see is chaos. I don't see much out there that really qualifies as stability or sanity. These are hard times. These are stressful times. These are scary times. It's the first time in history when the world has walked around wearing a mask on their face. I mean, this is like something out of a science fiction novel. This is scary stuff. I don't want to screw around with a bunch of BS. I want faith. I need faith right now. And there's a phrase in Jodo Shinshu Buddhism that sums it up, which I quote often. I cling to the sleeves of Amida Buddha. I cling for dear life. Because there are times I actually feel like societal norms are waves that are trying to drown me. There are waves that inundate me. They are waves that overwhelm me. Often. I don't want to jump out in the ocean of tossing tumultuous, stormy waves. I want to be anchored in my faith. And that's the thing. If I water down my faith, I'm not going to have a faith to be anchored to. I'm just going to have confusion and chaos. And so society will do as society always does. They'll follow whatever trend they want. It's nothing but a wave of trends. A tide of trends. They come in, they go out, they disappear, they form new ones, back and forth, and going nowhere. And occasionally you'll hear about those who make the trends and follow the trends that just get swept out into the abyss, into the ocean of nothing. I don't want to drift out into nothing because I go insane. I desire above all things the pure land of Amitabha Buddha. It's a place I don't deserve, but it's a place that I couldn't even dream of in terms of splendor and beauty, in terms of peace and bliss. I want peace. I want bliss. I don't want confusion. I don't want violence. I don't want madness. Therefore, I don't want societal norms. Namo Amida Butsu.